So, welcome to Morning Qigong. I can't believe it's already July. It's not quite July, January 9th.
Soon.
And I'm glad it looks light in my room here on the video because it is dark here. It is
Yeah.
really raining and coming down. So, all right, let's settle into our comfortable seats. And tune in to your breath. If you can hear the sound of rain outside, tune into that. Notice how your body, mind, and heart feel in response to the rain. Any response is okay, just being with where we are. Feel where your body touches the ground. And feel the space around you. And then follow your breath into the body. When we take easy, three-dimensional breaths, we invite a parasympathetic response in the nervous system. We calm the nervous system. And this sends messages to the adrenal system that it can also relax. Fluid breath. There are numerous scientific studies now that look at what happens to hormone levels, blood pressure, heart rate with pranayama practices. So we tune into the breath. Relax into our bodies. And begin to unwind any tension that we find there. I often find tension in my shoulders and neck, my jaw, behind my eyes. But as I breathe deeper, I also find this tension in various places along my spine. Sometimes in my abdomen. So really take some time to travel through your own body. Noticing where you habitually hold stress or tension. See if your breath can loosen the braid of tension. Unravel it. When we discuss the endocrine system, there's a melding of systems. The nervous system and the adrenal system are very closely intertwined. I'm going to give you an example I think many of you will relate to. A mother hears a baby crying. Her hypothalamus says, "Oh wow, our baby is crying," and nudges the pituitary gland, a little pea-sized gland in her head, and says, "Hey, our baby's crying." And the pituitary gland says, "Okay, I'll create the hormones that will invite breast milk to flow." These hormones are released into the circulatory system. the breast milk drops and the mom can feed her baby. Stimulus from outside the body comes in, is filtered through the hypothalamus. Messages are sent to the pituitary, and the pituitary then directs the glands around the body to do what they need to do. So if a person's walking in the woods and hears scary noises in the dark and thinks, oh no, a bear's approaching, the pituitary activates the adrenal glands to release adrenaline throughout the body. The problem in our modern day world is that often we get triggered to release stress hormones when we perhaps don't need those stress hormones coursing through our bodies. So we want to learn to balance those reactions. We can do this with the breath. So we take easy, full, and deep three-dimensional breaths, never straining for a fuller inhale, relaxing into the wave of the exhale. Breathing deep down into the kidneys. And into the adrenal glands, which sit right atop the kidneys. Breathing deeper still down to the ovaries or the testes, which release hormones into the body that help bring us towards homeostasis. We breathe into the front of the top of the sternum, behind which sits the thymus gland, a supporter of the immune system, a big supporter during childhood. We breathe into the little butterfly wings at the base of our neck, where the thyroid and parathyroid glands are. And we breathe up into the brain, into the pea-sized pituitary that is the grand master of the adrenal system. And we breathe into the little pine cone-shaped pineal gland, which regulates our sleep and wake cycles. And into the hypothalamus that brings in the messages from the outer world, offering them to the adrenal system. And let's acknowledge as we breathe that the nervous system is interlinked with this system. In fact, there are nerve endings right in the adrenal glands that activate the adrenaline response. So when we calm our nervous system, we calm the adrenal system. In yoga, there are specific poses as well as breathing practices that can nourish the glands of the system. And we'll move through some of those today. But as we sit here breathing, I want us to also acknowledge that there are energetic systems we invite to open. Systems that prana flows through. 72,000 rivers of energy, according to yoga. Imagine all the little tributaries. We have enough electricity flowing through us to power a little neon light bulb. Fluid breath. Bringing the emotions, the thoughts, the sensations into balanced awareness. Inviting the wider view. And experiencing the whole universe inside the body. Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. Namaste. Okay, let's come to standing and let's begin with our Qigong. Knowing that gentle movement can soothe the nervous system. Heels outer hip distance wide. Knees soft. Let the hands begin to shake and the knees gently bounce. Feel the soles of your feet on the floor. And dig your toes into the floor. Feel that. And then release them soft on the floor. And then dig them in again. Feel how your arches respond. And release them. One more time, dig them in. And release them. Hug the floor with your feet. And let the hands shake out to the sides. And back down. And shake up towards the sky. Remembering from last week that when we lift the hands above the head, we drain the lymph down the arms as well as the blood. So we invite these systems in the body to move, these fluids in the body to flow. And then let's release the arms back down. Middle fingers touch. Inhale, let the arms rise above the head. Exhale, interlacing the fingers, palms land on the head, release the shoulders. Relax here for a few breaths. Reach your head up into your hands. There's a reason they have people do this when they get arrested. Everybody's nervous system is going really rapidly, so is their adrenal system. Their endocrine system's responding. But this position helps to relax the body. Feel the pressure of your hands on the head. And then press hands skyward. Stretch them up and release your arms to your sides. And then inhale, middle fingers touch, arms circle skyward. Exhale, palms to the top of the head, shoulders relax. And when you're ready, you inhale and stretch the palms up and release. Can you simultaneously feel the soles of the feet on the floor as the arms move and the breath moves? Fluid. Middle fingers touch and we inhale the arms up. And exhale, palms to the top of the head. Finishing the exhale, we inhale and stretch skyward and release the arms. And let's roll one shoulder up, down, and back, and then the other. Turning the gaze inward to the inner landscape, feeling into the sensations, and making movements that feel like they may push us a little bit, they may stretch us, but they don't strain us. So we go easy enough as we warm up that hopefully the motions feel good and rhythmic to the body, like you're rocking yourself gently side to side as you circle the shoulders. And then we circle both shoulders up and down the back, up and down the back. Again, remembering last week, we're moving the lymph tissue in the armpit and the chest. And then we float the arms up out to the sides and we turn the left palm up and right thumb under. And inhale to center and exhale. And inhale, moving slow today. Feeling into the body. Fluid breath, the arms snaking along. Feel the soles of the feet on the floor and how you can root down into them from the pelvis, even as the upper body stretches open. And then release the hands. Circle the fingers around your thumbs and bring your back of your hands across the kidneys, massaging the back. Adrenal glands sit right atop the kidneys here. We also have the pancreas in the body. I may not have mentioned that one. That helps this entire adrenal system. Breathe deep into the whole of the abdomen, into the low back. And then release the hands up, let them face each other in a letter C. Notice how the dantians of your palms face each other. Bring your hands back to the back and massage the low back, the kidney area again. And invite the hands up. And one more time, massage. And release. Your arms, palms facing the lower dantian now. Fluid breath come into your wuji, your boundarylessness. Invite the skin to open and the breath to flow. And then stepping a little wider to ride your horse, let the knees bend and the back of the hands come to touch each other at the sternum. Breathe now into the sternum, into the top of the sternum, into the thymus. Invite your breath there, your energy there. And just give acknowledgement to this gland. And then draw the right elbow back, the left palm open, and pause in your horseback riding bow pose. Bring in the pinky ring and middle fingers and let your gaze rest over the index. Invite the breath to stretch your torso open. Fluid breath. A gentle twist in the neck, putting some compression on part of the thyroid gland. Let your eyes relax. And bring the hands back to back again in front of the heart, breathing in to the top of the sternum and behind it, the thymus. And though we may not really see it, let's acknowledge this gland is there, supporting our immune system, helped us develop it in childhood. And then stretch your right arm open, left elbow back, and circle in pinky ring in middle. Relax across the shoulder girdle. Twisting the neck, now breathe into the little bow tie of the thyroid gland, base of the neck. Fluid breath. Inviting the energy of the nadis to flow through all these glands and tissues. There's so much we still don't know about the body. But the energetic work of old practices is now being acknowledged as having validity. So let's trust it. Settle into moving our energy with breath. And then bring the hands back to back, knees still bent. Feel into the strength of your legs, rooting deep into the earth. Breathe up from the earth like you could draw clear energy, clear water into the spring of your body. Up through all the glands of your adrenal system. Up to the top of the head. And release your hands. And keeping legs where they are today, let's inhale. The arms up to the left and down to the right. Feet really firmly grounded. Remembering that we're working at 70% of effort here. Fluid breath. So warm out that my wood stove is doing a very good job. Fluid breath. Following your own breath. Feeling into the stability you're creating through your feet. Again, grip the toes into the earth and then release them and let the whole soul hug the ground. Let your mind be awake to the whole soul of each foot. Pausing at the bottom, inhale up the other side, exhale down. There's more and more work in yoga showing that if we can ground the body, ground vata energy, which is alive and well in the winter, then we also can relax these nervous systems in our body. The hormonal response of stress. So we in and exhale, maintaining strong connection with the ground. And then pause, Wuji. continuing with this grounding energy, turn palms up and exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Starting the bear frolics. Let it be a real forced exhale, letting go tension. Don't force it too hard. If you have high blood pressure, or you've had stroke or pressure through the brain, lighter pressure on the exhale. Come back to center. Pause. Hands up, we press out. Inhale to the heart, press out. Inhale to the heart, press. Inhale, exhale, inhale. You can stay with either of those or bring your hands to hold the platter overhead and exhale, left hand out, inhale, hands overhead, exhale, right hand, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Pause with hands overhead, releasing the blood and the lymph from the arms. Take a few fluid breaths. If you feel at all lightheaded, let the exhales be smoother and softer. And then bring the left hand down by the hip and back. Follow with your gaze and up. Right hand. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Come back up to the top and pause. Fluid breath into the whole circumference of the torso. Relaxing pelvis, really grounding into feet. Ground your toes, dig them into the soil, and then relax the toes. Feel the whole sole of the foot on the ground. Release into Wuji. Now, having grounded our energy, let's bring it into water, palms up, past the hips. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, flow yourself over the top. Inhale, the wave lifts, and exhale, it folds. Let yourself become water. The water deep down in the riverbed, moving over stones and between logs. Sinuous. You flow, but you're still hugged to earth by gravity. Rocking the body towards comfort and ease. Ever since we were little babies, most of us like being rocked, so we rock ourselves. Even as we acknowledge we are grounded to earth, both settling the nervous system and the endocrine system. See if you can become water. And then step the left foot forward and the right foot back. And exhale, your hands out along the left femur and into the right hip. Circling your hands gently. Feel the earth beneath your feet. The pelvis moves from this grounding point and the arms move from the movement of the pelvis. Let the movements be small. The arms don't circle too big. No strain in the low back from the moving arms. Fluid breath. What stone is it that you're polishing today? And then pause at the right hip and take the hands the other direction. Circling. Polishing your own awareness of the whole universe of the body. So you can take good care of this good friend. Really let your awareness expand to take in the whole body, the motion, the mind, and the heart. And come back to center, switching legs, following your right leg out, coming into the left hip. See if you can come down to the smallest rock and the very smallest circle just for a moment. Let the stone be really small, the rock be tiny. Feel how this changes what tissue you might be aware of in the pelvis. And then let the rock and the circle get a little larger and a little larger. We tend to go to a large range of motion first. Experiment in your Qigong practice with smaller ranges. Fluid breath. And then if you'd like, you can bring it larger again, but ask yourself, why do I prioritize big movements? Is it because I want more cardiovascular workout? And if so, maybe get that later today. Come in at the hip and take the circles the other way. Fluid breath. Slow motion. Building consciousness of the whole body. The body's connection to earth. The breath's connection to other beings on the planet. The systems you're feeding with the prana. And step the feet together and pause, Wuji. Feel now past the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, into the energy body, the Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing vibrations and tingling, noticing the electricity moving inside. When we sense expansiveness, we're not as constricted. The nervous system and the adrenal systems have relaxed a little bit. Now let's step the feet wide and turn the left foot out and bring the right hand across to the left and press and draw energy into the lower dantian and press and draw. Press away that which doesn't serve you in the new year. Draw in what does. Inhaling it deep into the lower dantian. You can imagine your spring drawing energy up from earth as you also draw it into the dantian with your hand. Releasing what doesn't serve you, drawing in what does. Side lunge, stretching the groins in different ways, which has an impact on the ovaries and the testes. And then let's switch sides. Right, left arm across to the right, and we draw in, exhaling, and inhaling. Putting an asymmetrical pull across the pelvis. Now, right hand across to the left and left hand across to the right, back and forth. Moving a little bit more quickly, feeling how we're changing the stretch in the groins as we move. How this impacts the lower abdomen. Fluid breath. You can even feel into the low back how the pressure may change around the kidneys. And then pause in the center, walking your feet in slightly, outer hip distance wide, Wuji. Raising your basket of all good things, twist slightly to the left, bending the right knee behind you if that's okay in your body, and then twisting back to the right. Make an offering of the good things in your basket outward. What is it you want to offer in this new year? To family, to friends, to the community, to yourself, to the environment. And then come back to center, releasing the hands, palms facing the lower dantian, Wuji. Rooting the feet. Grip the toes into the earth, feel them tighten and then relax. Now gently turn your feet out. Bring your hands to your hip creases and bend your knees. If you need to widen your stance, you can. Coming down, down towards a squat. Feel how you're adding a little compression into the groins. Fluid breath. We don't squat enough in our culture. So it's good to try to do this in our practices. Maybe you can sway your pelvis a little side to side. Try to have it be the pelvis that sways. Yep, not the shoulders. Fluid breath, inviting the pelvis to open. Feel into this base of the belly of the abdomen, how it's stretching. And then come straightening back up and step the feet together, pausing in your mountain pose. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Draw water and earth energy up from the roots of your feet, through the whole body, up, out through the top of the head, and let it wash through the adrenal system. Fluid breath. Acknowledging these glands that release hormones into the bloodstream and help you grow, help you regulate your metabolism. Help you to respond to your environment. Bring your hands to your lower abdomen and massage, acknowledging the glands in your lower body. The ovaries, the testes. Bring your hands to the back and massage behind you, acknowledging the adrenal glands. Bring the hands to your abdomen and circle the hands, acknowledging your pancreas. Bring the hands up to right at the top of your sternum and tap, which helps wake up and activate the thymus gland. And then bring your hands across your neck and massage your neck gently. And then just one hand from the neck crease down to the shoulder girdle, and then at the base of the neck, massaging the thyroid, the parathyroid behind it. And then bring your fingers right up between the eyebrows and massage between your eyebrows. And back behind your fingers as you come to kind of center forehead, the pituitary, the pineal glands and the hypothalamus tucked back in. Then let your hands massage across your scalp. And take any tension out of scalp and head and mind. Just release as you massage your fingers through. And then let go. Shake it out. Okay. I'd like us to begin the yoga portion of the class by coming to a wall and bringing your hands shoulder height for a cobra, a standing cobra. Root your heels in tailbone. Drawing the hands isometrically down, lift the heart. Lift the low back rib ring. Keep lifting the low back rib ring as you curl the heart open. Stretching the front chest. Also stretching all the way through the psoas pathway. Opening, stretching poses through the abdomen. Help us also stretch down into the glands in the lower body. Breathe up through the feet, all the way through the top of the head, washing and cleansing this endocrine system, which also means cleansing the circulatory system and the nervous system. Fluid breath. And then exhale, release, and take your hands high up the wall. Lift your heels off the ground and slowly lower the heels, stretching the waistline long. Breathing space between your vertebrae. Slowly bring the hands to the wall and come back to whatever height is good for you. Not everybody needs to come to parallel. And come into your half dog. Bend your knees and straighten them, and bend and straighten. Yes, as we do this, we're gently pumping the lymph in the groins, but we're also moving the lower abdomen slightly. Lift the pelvis and draw one foot up behind you, Virabhadrasana 3. Fluid breath. And you could stay in the half dog, you could stay with the bending knees and the straightening. Release the foot, and as you're ready, float the other leg into your Virabhadrasana 3. Long across the torso. Forward folded in one leg, extended in the other. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Walk back into the wall. Hands at shoulder height. Inhale, open into your cobra. Lifting the low back rib ring as you root the tailbone. Lifting the heart broad across the shoulder girdle. Lift the shoulder blades to lift the heart. Long neck. As you work the muscles of the neck, you're working around the thyroid gland. Really take the base of the skull away from the base of the neck. And exhale, release to standing. Reach your fingers up high. Stick your fingers to the wall and slowly lower your heels, stretching the spine long. Breathe space between the vertebrae. And exhale. Walk back. Half dog, bending the knees and straightening, bending and straightening. Come to as straight as is comfortable for you and take one sit bone back, stretching the side body, and the other sit bone back. And notice how you're stretching the low back around the kidneys and the adrenals. Just float one sit bone back, then the other. Gentle massage of the low back. And then ground the feet if you'd like to, and lift one foot into your Virabhadrasana 3. Those of you who'd like to come to fingertips, do. Or lift your hands off the wall, do. Fluid breath. See if you can maintain that three-dimensional calming breath as you move into more challenging poses. And then release the lifted leg and switch. Moving from palms to fingers to floating. Make sure your shoulders aren't bunched up around your ears, and breathe into the pose. And then exhale back to standing mountain pose. Let your head and hyoid bone rest back. Three-dimensional breath into the whole torso. Let's bring in our chair. I'm going to put my chair away. Bring in our chair and have a seat with the blocks in front of you for an Uttar Vista Konasana forward fold. So as we move into forward folds, we begin to bring the circulatory system to nourish the glands in the head and neck. So we sit wide with our sit bones at the front of the chair, and we inhale, lengthen tall. Broad across the shoulder girdle. Stay aware of the spine and its neutral curves as you hinge from the hip. Hands to the blocks. Along the spine. rooting the feet. Let's take the blocks forward first today, taking them forward towards your wide-legged seated downward dog. Remember, you could have your hands on a tabletop. You could stay just as high, head and pelvis. Good. Some of you will come lower, and the blood from the heart will begin to flow down the throat towards the glands in the head. A fluid breath. Those of you who can't come lower at this time, that's okay. Stay with the fluid breath, the three-dimensional breath. The relaxation of the nervous system, which relaxes the adrenal system, which helps us find healthy balance. And then walk your blocks back in underneath you at whatever height is best for you. And float your right wing out to the side, grounding into the left arm. Some of you will open into your twist. Fluid breath. Stay in tune with your spine. Don't bang vertebrae into vertebrae if you have osteoporosis. Long neck out of the shoulder girdle. Try to keep the left knee back. Don't let it follow you around. And exhale. Release the right wing. And inhale. Open the left wing. Notice as you twist how you stretch and put some pressure in the kidney area in the back body. Also through the stomach, through the abdomen where the pancreas is. There's different information out there, but some believe there's a ringing action that happens in the organs that invites more fluid to flow through, which would mean the lymph can do its job. We exhale the lifted hand down and float back up, and take the legs to the right, and inhale, hands to the heart. Lengthening the spine, exhale, twist to the left. Back of the right hand against the left leg, left arm open. Breathe into the torso. And imagine you're the dish rag that's being twisted. And then as you exhale, hands to the heart, you're being released into the pool of fresh water. And take your legs to the other side. And inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, slowly twist to the right. And inhale. Left hand to the outside of the right leg, right arm open. Lead with your shoulder. Breathe into the pose, and if you'd like, look out the far corners of the eyes, or take your eyes in a circle. Stretch the eyes, the muscles of the eyes. We don't want them to get stiff. Fluid breath. And then exhale, release the ring, and come back to center. Release your hands and open the legs wide once again. A few of you may want blocks to the inside of the feet. And inhale, right arm alongside the ear. Now really stretch the hands open and fist, and stretch and fist and stretch. You may also stretch the toes open and fist, and toes and fist. So we're stretching the extremities of the body. You can stay here or come to a forearm. Fluid breath into the upper side. As we relax on the exhale, we relax the nervous system. Some of you may come down to a block. Fluid breath. And then gather your core strength before you float back up. Right hand to femur, left arm alongside the ear, and stretch yourselves open, and stretch, and fist, and stretch, and fist. Hands and feet, stretch, and fist, and stretch, and fist. Some of you may come lower. Fluid breath. Inhale the stretch, exhale the fist. Some of you may come lower still. And then gather the energy at the middle. Feel how that gathering puts some pressure on the inside and come back up. Fluid breath into the whole torso. Take the blocks out of your way and step the feet back together. Heels aligned with your sit bones, feet straight ahead. Let your arms come to your sides. Scoot a little farther back on your chair. And inhale, lift just off the chair, Utkatasana. If it's comfortable, you can bring your arms to your ears, but remember you can also bring your arms to your hands to your heart. Fluid breath, broad across the shoulder girdle, building strength in the low body, compressing a little bit in the groins. Breathe into the low belly. Breathe into the root chakra, which resides at your pelvic floor. From there, root down into the feet and rise up. Interlace your fingers, thumbs to the base of the skull, traction the head and rest the head back. Lift the elbows, stretching the whole front side of the body open. Fluid breath. And then exhale back up to standing and release. Come now again to your wall. Some of you will be able to do this in the center of the room for your runner's stretch. But if you need a wall to balance, if you need a TheraBand or a yoga strap, you can bring that in. Some of you may just want to rest the leg on a chair. If you have the wall, you can use it to pull your heart up away from the knee, grounding back on the chair. The chair could be a little bit behind you so that you're getting more of a back bend feeling. Those of you who can come into the runner's stretch on your own, feel free to do it in the center of the room. Remember, you want your knee to be able to come straight down towards earth for good knee health. And then we breathe into it, lifting the heart, lifting the thymus gland. Bring your shoulder blades onto the back. Fluid breath. Those of you in the center of the room, lift your arm towards dancer pose if that's comfortable. And stretch and fist and stretch and fist. The lifted foot and the lifted hand. Fluid breath. Breathing the whole circumference of the torso wide. Or release the first side and take the second side. Releasing the knee towards earth, femur bones parallel. It may be back behind the standing leg a little bit, that's okay. If you'd like to, lift the arm. Stretch across the shoulder girdle, opening your quad, but also opening the groin, stretching the front abdomen. Breathe into the low pelvis. Cobra, dancer. These are poses, Salambhasana. These are poses that are good for ovaries and testes. Fluid breath for this lower abdomen. And they're also good for scar tissue for those of us who've had surgeries, abdominal surgeries. Breathe in, invite the scar tissue to soften, to unravel a little. And then exhale, release, roll your shoulders. So you can go back into that runner stretch, or you can lift the first foot back up into your hand or strap to come towards dancer. Your choice. We release the knee down, we lift the heart skyward, we broaden across the shoulders. Length in the spine, some of you will hinge forward. Now you can hinge forward towards your wall, if you'd like, or towards your piece of furniture, with your fingers lightly touching it, walking up it, lengthening the spine and lifting off. So you don't have to do it in the center of the room. Good. Fluid breath. Finding your balance. Feel free to come back into the runner's stretch. And if bringing the knee back behind you is hard, Mom, you could even just do this. Like lengthen one leg back and lift it, just coming into a stretching back bend. There you go. Fluid breath. Don't let your head hang heavy. Good, and exhale, release. And then let's try the other side. Bring the foot up into the hand, release the knee long. Lift through the torso, up through the top of the head, and as you're ready, hinge forward, pressing the back foot back into the hand. Open at the pelvis. Fluid breath. Beautiful, Cynthia. That's good work with your theraband. Fluid breath. And exhale, release, pausing in your mountain pose. Let your hands float out to the side and up like the wings of birds. And exhale, let them release. Step one foot forward and inhale, let it rise. And exhale, float down. So we did dancer. Now we're flying. Let your flight dance in whatever way feels good to you. Fluid breath. Deep three-dimensional inhale, followed by a slowly releasing exhale. And then take the other side. So it's an all around the body practice today for the endocrine system. Next, I want us to come back to our forward folds. So you can come back to that seated forward fold if that's best for you that we did earlier. Or you can come into your Prasarita Padottanasana, your wide-legged forward fold with your blocks or your chair. Come legs wide, wherever you are. And hands on the hips. Inhale, lift through the heart. Ground your tailbone and come into your standing back bend. Try to lengthen through the neck and feel how there's a little pressure in the throat. We want this kind of pressure, release around these glands. Ground from the pelvis into the feet and exhale forward, taking your groins back. Come forward, hands to your props. Perhaps your props can come lower and you can come out to a wide-legged downward dog. Fluid breath. Now, if you can't come all the way down, leave your hands on a high piece of furniture or the wall. Step back and let it be a half dog with three-dimensional breath. But those of you who can come down, feel the blood releasing down from the heart easily towards the thymus, the thyroid, the pineal, and the pituitary glands. Fluid breath. Washing these glands with blood. Nourishing these glands that help regulate our entire system. Those of you who can release from the blocks and place your hands between your feet and fold forward can do so. Fluid breath. Some may be able to lightly touch their head to the floor, the top of the head. Don't strain yourself into this forward fold. Allow it to unfold. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jory. She's putting her head onto a block. You can do that as well. Just to give a little pressure to the top of the head. Great, Linda. Fluid breath. That looks good, Anna. Deep three-dimensional breath. Beautiful, Deb. You too, Terry. Nice poses, Cynthia, Jory, Jonathan. And then let your hands walk forward, hands come back to the hips, and exhale, come back to standing, step your feet together, pause in your mountain pose. Fluid breath. Okay, we're going to move towards Uttanasana, but people will stop in different places along the way. So you may have your blocks out to your side. You may reach towards a wall, or like Mom, you have that big rail at the back of your bed. You can rest your hands on a dresser. Jill does that sometimes. So wherever you are, you're going to start bending the knees a lot. Keep the spine long and you're hinging forward. You may support yourself uplifted, or you may come down to blocks. We're moving towards Uttanasana. But where I'd like you to start is in standing child's pose. Wherever you are, we try to bend the knees and place the belly right on the femur bones. Okay, so really try to bend the knees a lot. Have the belly on the femur bones. And if you don't get there, then you're moving in that direction. Okay, but if you have to leave your head above your heart, you decide if you can bend the knees that much. If not, don't go all the way. Those of you who've rested your torso right onto your femur bones, either stay where you are, tractioning the pelvis behind you. You can walk back from your furniture or your blocks, or begin to straighten the legs and let the forward fold occur like a waterfall over the legs. Fluid breath. Uttanasana. Again, we're washing the thyroid, the thymus, the pituitary and pineal glands with blood. Nourishing our adrenal system. Again, here you could bring a block in and put it beneath your head and put gentle pressure on the fontanelle. If you have enough of a hinge forward. And then bend the knees and unhinge. Pause again in your mountain pose. Fluid breath. Okay, let's come to the wall one more time. Take your back to the wall. Your humerus bones against the wall. Come into really bringing the head of the arm bones back. We're going to move towards a standing bridge pose. If you can picture that, Jonathan and Joy. But first, stand in your Tadasana. Imagine pressing up into the fontanelle as you root your feet. Draw your navel in and up to feel that Uddiyana Bandha energy along the front spine. Tailbone grounds. Really feel the whole of your humerus bone grounding back behind you. Natural curve to your cervical spine. You can stay here, or you can step your feet a little forward and lift the heart skyward, coming into a standing bridge. Notice, so you've walked your feet and your pelvis forward too, Anne. Take your pelvis off the wall. Yeah, so just your humerus and your shoulder girdle against the wall. You're coming into a bridge pose. Lift your pelvis away from the wall. Yeah, there it is. Lift your heart up towards your chin slightly. And notice how you're putting a little pressure into your thyroid gland here. Lifting the chest towards the chin. And breathe into the throat, into the lifting thymus. Fluid breath. Even pressure back through the whole of the humerus bone, not just the elbow. And then step your heels back towards the wall and release to standing. And pause in your standing and notice how this work helps you open the front chest. If you can do this once or twice a day, we could help, it'll help us get the humerus bones back into a healthy position. Okay, so when we come to the floor and begin doing floor bridges, those of you who can't have your head beneath your heart right now, you could come back to the wall and do that lifted bridge. Please bring in a couple blankets. We're going to move now towards shoulder stand work. So you'll put blankets folded so that you could have your head hanging off the edge. So I put my blankets this long way because then it's long enough for me to bring a block in and lift my pelvis a little higher. Some of you might be better off, like I'm imagining Terry, with your blankets this way and a block in front of the blankets where your sacrum would be. Okay? Some of you may have to double fold the blankets and put the blocks under your arm bones. So let me show you where we're going. We did this not that long ago, so I think you'll remember. We lay across the top of the blanket and let the head waterfall off the blanket pile. And you could stay here. So some of you may stop here. The head is a little lower than the heart, even just here. And that is nourishing for the glands of the head and neck. Some of you will come and lift the block under your sacrum and come a little higher toward your shoulder stand. Some of you may lift the block a little higher under your sacrum and come a little higher toward shoulder stand. Okay? So whatever you're comfortable with, this is a mixed ability group. We're moving now towards shoulder stand, which will put good pressure on the thyroid glands. So whichever version speaks to you, you come into that version of the bridge. And then if you feel like you have the balance under you, you bring your feet towards the sky. Fluid breath. Head lower than heart. And if you can lift your feet skyward, the blood moves from the toes down the body. The heart easily pumps blood towards the neck and head. Fluid breath. Your knees can rest in towards the chest. You don't have to overexert in the legs. And you can be here a little while, and if you feel like, oh, now I want to change my block to a higher position, you can come back down and try moving one more up. Be careful, be thoughtful to your body. Ground through the arm bones, broad across the shoulder girdle. Fluid breath. There should be no pressure on the head or neck. If you're at the wall doing the bridge, then let yourself relax and have a seat and take some breaths. Fluid breath. If you've been working at the wall, you could come to lie down on the floor. In a shavasana. Invite the breath deep into the belly. And then gently bend the knees and float one foot to the floor and then the other, lifting up off the block. Lower your sacrum and pause, just resting for a moment with your breath. And then carefully support the head and lift yourself up as you roll over and come up. Let's move the blankets out of the way and we're starting to move towards Shavasana, so get your sweater, your socks, whatever you might need for your Shavasana. I'm going to offer you the option of taking your legs up the wall for Shavasana, but first I'd like us to do some gentle twists. So if you want to set yourself up at the wall so that you're ready to go, you can do that. But before we go into the Shavasana, let's let ourselves lay back. Take our feet as wide as the mat, our arms out into a T. And slowly take the knees over to one side. If you'd like to, you can bring the hands up the arms alongside your ears, the hands overhead. And the back knee extends out of the pelvis to stretch open. Notice how this stretches through the pelvis and the low abdomen. Feel into the low back and breathe into it. Invite breath into the abdomen to massage the pancreas. And then exhale to center and take the knees the other way. Reaching the back knee long away from the same side hand or armpit. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Relaxing into the position on the exhale. Come back to center. Release your arms to your sides and nod your pelvis, tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky. And just massage the lumbar scaphoid. And then take a few rolls, tailbone towards sky, rolling up the spine. And then rolling down again, massaging the low back into the floor. Pressure, gentle pressure into the low back kidney area. And then roll back down. And if you'd like to come to the wall for legs up the wall, you can. Before you do that, if any of you want to roll into a halasana, a cloud pose, you can also do that. You may want blankets under your shoulders. So, mixed level class. Some of you may just want to circle your knees. And then lay out in an extended Shavasana with your knees over a bolster. All these options healthy for the nervous system. Choose the one that's right for you. Good. Don't underestimate the importance of the Shavasana. We're in a culture that tells us exercise is the most important thing for our health. What we're beginning to realize through the recent research is actually relaxing the nervous system and the adrenal system may be of at least equal importance. And exercise can help us do that, cardiovascular exercise. But we also need to take time to train our bodies to be able to deeply rest while awake. So this is your opportunity for that wide open space. Let your mind wander back to the beginning of the practice. The Qigong movements. The ease and the flow and the rocking. Rest into those sensations and images. Then let your mind wander through the yoga poses and how your body responded to those, your mind and heart responded to those. And let yourself land here, deeply grounding the back body. Really visualize that ancient tree that's lying on the forest floor, unraveling back into soil. Invite your body to unravel into the hug of gravity. This is first chakra grounding work. Restorative for the nervous and the endocrine systems. With each exhale, unravel a little more into the hug of gravity. Allow your body to release like water in a puddle. This means the muscles that stay tense need to relax and become water-like. It's a strange invitation in this pose, but this pose is corpse pose. We're invited to be still as the body someone has just left behind. That relaxed. relaxation here. If your mind wanders, bring it back to relaxing those muscles that are still tense. Unravel into the soil. Keep traveling through the body, inviting the muscles to relax. And now gently deepen the breath. And invite subtle energy back into the fingers and the toes. And visualize these systems in your body. And if you can't quite visualize them, I invite you to look them up online. Google a diagram of the adrenal system. And as you're ready, roll over. Pause for a moment. And then press yourselves up to a comfortable seat. Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. May we realize and better understand the health benefits of these practices to our entire body, heart, and being. And may they nourish us as we step into the new year together. Namaste. Thank you all for taking such good care of yourselves and modifying where you needed to. Nice work.
Thank you, Tracy. That was great.